Who am I going to have to kill to get a Liquid Death sponsorship around here, huh? Convicted Melon. All right. Top of business. If you check the thumbnail here, Panic at the Disco. Panic at the Disco, yeah. Okay, cool. Proud of that little punny name there. Rachel Zegler mouthed off again. She's in a place of power, Disney princess now. So she gets to wish ill or never see comfort for all Trump supporters. Real smart idea right there, gal. The thing that makes me curious about this is the apology. There was a bit of a non-apology sort of angle to this, a defiant apology, but nonetheless, she was forced to apologize. That flies in the face of conventional wisdom in the wokehood. Typically, the company like Disney would champion, they're speaking truth to power, this sort of thing. But now it's unpopular opinion affecting the bottom line, and we're going to see apologies cometh, which is pretty cool. Regardless, Sunny Hostin remains on The View. Oh, hey, before we go to the break, you got a legal notice? Yes, I do. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz was never found convicted. Back to the break, whatever. That's, I don't think she's going to finish. Well, the year's almost over. When do they consider a new season of The View? Maybe in the summer? And for that, I don't think that we're going to see Sunny Hostin back, would be my guess anyway. I've turned on a mode here where you have to be subscribed for 3 minutes to comment, which could be interesting. We'll see what happens here. I guess you're going to actually need viewers for any of this to work. It says I allegedly have 2 now. So I think that if you look at what Jaguar has put out with their ad campaign, they've hired some asshat who has created, I think, 15 DEI initiatives at Jaguar, and he's very proud of that. Does that sell cars? Did you engineer cars? Did you put features in cars? That's the problem. Like, hey, go to college, study DEI. If you look at him, you can see what part of that he's in, because he's not a black guy. So let's just say that. He's one of those alternate lifestyles. I think that we're creating these like fictional jobs that these people don't have any business being in, that contribute nothing, but it's some way to move some cash around for optics. Oh, hey, maybe we're not woke enough, and that's why people aren't buying our cars. Okay, so you make unreliable cars for what, going on 75 years plus or something? And yet you're wondering why people aren't buying the cars. The prices go up. It's the same car as last year, but now it costs 10,000 more. You give less performance. Oh, now you can't get the V8 with the supercharger. Like, things like that will happen. Essentially, Land Rover, Jaguar are like one company. They're operated, I think, out of Tata Motors. Is it Chinese or India? Tata. I think it might be Indian. Don't know. Is there much of a difference? What you should do, and like if you look at the stock, it may be a little too late, but man, shorting Jaguar's parent company on the stock market right now looks like a good play, because this is a company circling the drain. They aren't even making any cars right now. They are retooling for an EV relaunch. So you're going to give us EVs that are superior in what way to what everybody else is doing? Are you going to have more luxury than the Lucid? Are you going to have more range or usability than the Tesla? Or are you going to have superior self-driving? It doesn't make any sense. All right, it looks like I'm losing all the viewers. Great. That's what happens when the stream doesn't work correctly. I think Jaguar assumed that Kamala Harris was gonna win and that there would be that she would get the Electoral College and some kinda sweeping amount of the popular vote, and it would usher in this new DEI era where every company would be competing to see who is the wokest, or they were in the least convinced this by some stupid, marketing firm, and then 6 months from now, another marketing firm is gonna go, "I've got the solution. Pay me $30 million and change your logo to the way it was in 2023." And they'll be like, "Genius." And that'll be like the history of Jaguar right there. Companies that are doing great, that are really crushing it, don't have to make drastic changes. So where how do you make a huge change? "Oh, hey, we're slumping hard over here. Sales are way, way down. What do? We have to do something drastic." If you're crushing it, you don't have to do something drastic. That's why we don't have any innovation with Apple, for better or less. It's like, what do people want? Another iPhone next year. We can do that. Minimal upgrades, plan the stuff 3 years in advance, hold off a few features so that we can use them later, and that's what we're gonna do, and it works for them, 'em, doesn't it? Offer services that don't go down. In a car company, if the prices keep going up and you don't really have a prestige factor, if you're being outcompeted everywhere, you aren't excelling at the racing, what headlines are you really grabbing? When's the last time you saw a Jaguar on the road? Even if you live in places that used to have them around, I mean, people ain't buying them. I'm not counting on Jaguar sticking around much longer. Not in the sense that we know it or that we see it coming. Look at this new logo they've got. Capital J, lowercase a, capital U, capital G, lowercase a, lowercase r. It's incongruent at the least. All caps would have worked. I believe the previous logo with the cat leaping was all caps. The cat face that adorned the hood on their cars, just that emblem. I'm not even talking about the statue portion. It's being changed out for like J's that are crooked. Fine and dandy if you are a seasonal perfume fragrance company and you need to have a quirky, weird ass ad for Christmas to assault people of colors and have a ton of Tilda Swintons in there. I Was there a male in the commercial? Let me know in the comments below. Because like I didn't see a guy. Let's do a poll. How do I start a poll here from the phone? Actually, I'm probably gonna have to go over here to do it. Let's see. All right, I'm typing a poll up here. Was there a male in the Jaguar ad? All right, made that look seamless. Yeah, I maybe maybe the one in the red with the like triangle hair that had the paintbrush that was spinning around, like he was in 6 Inch Nails video or something. Like maybe that was a guy. I don't know. Like that, the completely bald one that was like really pale and then yellow. I think that I don't. I think that was a chick with the sledgehammer. I think that was also a chick. Also, yeah. And then there were two big black. Well, hold on. There were three black queens, right? That kind of, it didn't look out of place for Cynthia from Rugrats to like photobomb, right? In fact, let's edit that in. That would have that believe me, that would have made sense. People would have got behind that. And also this new logo, it somebody described it to me as looking like a competitor to like Play School. Like it looks like toddler toys. It doesn't look like a serious company. It looks like we were shooting for Mercedes and Rolls Royce at one point, and now we're just like Fiat 500. Pretty bad. I do have something to open for you guys. The stream's working, right? You're welcome to comment or try the poll here. Let's unbox something. Got this in the mail today. Been looking forward to this. Do you guys know what this is? This is from Movies Unlimited and cardboard kind of mailer. Maybe there's some bubble wrap in there. I guess we shall see. Oh, I was expecting I'd have to use a knife. Trying to prove this hasn't been opened before here, and let's see what we've got. Okay, so that was probably really loud. Oh, what do we have here, boys? Look at that. And then we got a little receipt. Probably, mentions I don't think that was in view, their address. Great. Look at that. The Terminator 4K Steelbook. The discs are in place. They didn't come loose. Does not appear to be dented. So pretty happy with that. We'll be watching that probably later tonight. Keeping it real with you. Being semi first party-ish, it does include the digital copy. That might, in some ways, be my favorite bonus feature going. Unfortunately, you do not get the digital copy when it's from Synapse, Shout Factory, Arrow. They just don't seem to be able to swing that. But they will give you commentary tracks from some female podcasters. They'll do you that. Actually, I don't think this mentions much in the way of special features. Special features: creating the Terminator visual effects and music, creating closer to the Terminator, closer to the real thing, Unstoppable Force, Legacy of the Terminator 7 deleted scenes. So does not include a director's commentary, though. James Cameron will tell you he sat there and watched every second, right? Like, I watched every frame of that restoration. I've seen some stuff come up regarding it, and I'm going to get into it later, of course, but where I'll do a video kind of showing off it and the Aliens 4K restoration. I believe Aliens went for it as clean as possible look. Like, can we get zero grain in the frame? Terminator looks more like it is respecting the film medium. But in a lot of ways, that 4K Aliens is better than people are putting it at. The AI, and I'm giving you a bit of a preview here of what's coming in the video. If the AI was so smart, wouldn't it be able to recognize what it's looking at? Like, there is a shot of the Griffith Observatory, and it's dark, and way in the back, you can actually see a sign above the door, Griffith Observatory. It's illegible in the way it's presented in the Blu-ray, and that may be for lack of fidelity, out of focus, number of reasons, right? In this version, they tried to clean it up with the AI, and the AI is like, not really spelling things, Griffith Observatora or something. I think that the AI is maybe the artificial intelligence part of this is not as intelligent as we're being told. Like, It maybe recognizes a few shapes and tries to convey what it is, but how come it doesn't say, "Hey, I know what movie this is, and this is what it's supposed to look like." And if you went to this place at this time, this building would be here. Why doesn't it know that? Like, the AI is not really AIing, if you ask me. But yeah, should be a good watch, make some popcorn. Let's see, the chat is completely dead, and there's no good reason for that. It's not even on members only. So I do see, hold on here. I do see we in the poll. In the poll, we have 100% say there are no males in the Jaguar ad. I believe you. I I think the closest one was the paintbrush, the red triangle hair with the paintbrush. And by closest, maybe that's like a formerly male trans scenario. Like that's about is the best I can do on that. See if I lean back too much, we got a weird shadow there. So yeah, this is definitely kind of need that light though, right? Or is it too much? It only gets stronger. Move it down there, make it even weirder, and now I'm just talking to myself. Like Malcolm from Jurassic Park. All right, mentioned this in the pod today that I think Trump's putting together these cabinet people not to run a successful department. Linda McMahon, not a an expert on education. Maybe didn't even actually graduate college. I think that's the latest story. Lied about graduating college. Didn't matter, right? It doesn't matter when you're the wife of the owner of the company that you graduated college or not. What difference does that make? She's here on the Department of Education to destroy the Department of Education, to shut it down, to be like, oh, somebody has to be in charge, wind it down with the Doge crowd, right? The Department of Government Efficiency. We put the kibosh on the government education because what have we gotten out of that? It's been around since like 1980, right? But nothing much has come since then. Test scores have gone down, illiteracy has climbed up. So we're not really getting a return on our investment. Instead, it's just one of those bureaucracy things where it's like, well, we need to push some money around, pay, wash the bribe money, right? And then we'll call it the Department of Education. And if you say anything bad, what, you're against education? You don't want to teach children? Fancy way of presenting it so that you can deflect all criticism. Now, why Linda McMahon? She, if I'm not mistaken, I believe she walked away from the Trump uh, regime, whatever we're calling it, administration, during the January 6th riot stuff. People were like, "We gotta distance ourselves." I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to turn in my notice, quit the cabinet thing, whatever. I think she was one of those people, but she's back because this will open the door for Vince McMahon to get pardoned by the president. Do not be shocked when Vince McMahon is not only pardoned by Donald Trump, but given a Medal of Freedom. It's happening. I'm calling it now. Uh, you probably can't really get pardoned on a civil lawsuit. What kind of billionaire doesn't pay his hush money? Hmm? That's kind of messed up, if you ask me. But hey, what do I know, right? It says top messages. Can I not put that on all messages? I tried. Uh, Turned on subscriber only mode and I create clip. We don't need to do that. Oh, what am I bookmarking? Oh my god, I'm pushing all the wrong buttons. Chat. Okay, so how do I turn off top messages? That says live, and there's nothing, but someone did vote that there were no men in the Jaguar ad. Now over here, even though I'm watching from my own account, it's acting like, hold on, I want to say, is this working? Since I can't really subscribe to myself, I'll be surprised if that works. Okay, wonderful. Members, don't act like I didn't fulfill my end of the bargain here. What else is there to speak of? I don't I don't really have a whole lot else to say. If no one's gonna get in here, then I guess we'll wrap it up at the 30-minute mark and then edit things down slightly. I have been revisiting Friday the 13th, the game, and I'm gonna do a video on this as it winds down. It's the servers are coming offline at the end of the year, and I think it's not because the game's not lucrative, though it isn't. You actually can't buy it. I don't think you've been able to buy it in 2024. You can't buy the DLC. You can't. So, but they're running the servers. Ilphonic and Gun Media, right? But they've lost the license to either like the Jason character or the Friday the 13th franchise. It was already quite the task to have to try to negotiate with both Paramount, the original owner of the IP, I suppose. Well, the Sean S. Cunningham, maybe he kind of maybe sold to Paramount, but then also New Line Cinema got in, so then you had to please that crowd, and they've got Jason's there aplenty. But, yeah, I guess it expired, and we have these other asymmetric, PvP horror games going around. We have and I think a lot of them are actually from the same people. There's a Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, I believe, Predator Hunting Ground, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is not bad, and Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which I'm surprised wasn't a joke. I just didn't think that the IP was strong enough that it would resonate with people. And it's in a lot of these games are broken after a month or two. I know that I was fortunate enough to beat or either complete all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre achievements within a month because after a month, and the game even launched on Game Pass, everybody was a damn expert. You couldn't do shit like as the family because all the other players were skilled up and they knew exactly what to do, and you really couldn't go after them quick enough. They'd win the battle of attrition through the just having the number advantage, and you'd be lucky to get a kill. It's not quite as bad with Friday the 13th. And I do think that a lot of these games that try to specialize in one franchise have advantages over Dead by Daylight, which is the Fortnite of this genre. Dead by Daylight just says, "Have you heard of this? Let's put it in the game." At the very least, unlike Fortnite, it has to have some kind of horror line to it. Bring in Michael Myers, Ghostface. We've got Ash. Things make a little bit of sense there. Whereas Fortnite just Bart Simpson, Betty White, whatever, a dead rapper, whatever you got. Thanos. The trouble is that Dead by Daylight has these characters running around doing things that have nothing to do with their movie. You don't really kill people. You hang them up on a tree for a sacrifice, and everybody is busy repairing generators nonstop. Like that was a thing in any horror film. At the very least, Friday the 13th puts you in Camp Crystal Lake, different sections of it, and you are well, you're listed as a counselor, but I never see you do any counseling. But you look vaguely and sometimes more than vaguely like characters from the movies. and you try to run away from Jason. It's just unfortunate there's only one way to kill Jason. They always have to get him somehow at the end, right? There's not a lot of scenarios where, and then Jason ran away. But in this game, sometimes he does because once you get the sweater and you have Tommy on the scene and you have a sharp instrument like an axe or a machete and a baseball bat to bring him to his knees, and yeah, Jason's going to run away from that because he knows you're going to murk him. There is fun to it, and there's still a community. That's the real surprising thing, actually. A game that's winding down still has a ton of people actually playing it. On Xbox, it's not even cross platform, and there's still a lot of people. And it's still kind of a thrill to take out Jason or narrowly escape in a car or a boat or what have you, call the cops, repair things. People start LFGs looking for group posts on Xbox, wanting to role play the game. Like you have to talk like your character actually would. And it's like 1984 and you're Tiffany or something, whatever. It's kind of cool. Like, wouldn't it be great to have a game that had like a almost endearing legacy, though you would never be able to revisit it later? If we make too many of these games that require an online only component, there's no preservation for that. I have one achievement in EA Sports' Knockout City. Hey, let's do Fortnite with dodgeball. And it got yanked, I think, a year in or something. I did manage to complete Rumbleverse, which I actually thought was pretty good, solid game. And you can't revisit it. Servers were pulled after less than a year. And of course, the gold standard Concord. What did it get? Less than 2 weeks? No preservation. Concord will actually have a movie in way of there's an anthology series on video game stories, and Concord is one of them. And there were some complaints issued about this, like, why Concord? Well, we started the project like 3 years ago. We don't know what's going to be hot when it comes out. Well, you're way off here. So how, if people were supposed to be familiar with the characters to understand the story for that anthology series, and then they're like, who's this guy? Never played it, can't play it, know nothing about it. Is that going to get doomed? Are they going to cut that out and maybe expand the other stuff? Did they not have an alternative plan? It's going to have Keanu Reeves in it because he has to do something all the time, right? That's just kind of the way it goes for him. Well, no one here got one thumbs up, and we are not even 30 minutes in. Man, it's shameful. What does this receipt thing say here? Thank you for your something ships. Oh, it's a return label. In case looked pretty solid to me, so I don't see any reason to return that. Gonna have to give Movies Unlimited a shout. When everybody else had this sold out, they were like, "Nope, we've got in stock." And I've picked up a few things from them, and this was actually the first order that I got from them, and it was like, you know, when this thing was announced, the steelbook sold out really damn quick everywhere, and the prices were going up for whoever had a confirmed pre-order, all that. But Movies Unlimited still had them a few weeks later, and I placed an order in September. And since then, I've gotten a few things from them, and everything turned out okay, really. Um, so yeah, not a lot to complain about there. And I guess I will get into watching the Terminator 4K because nobody's watching me. So yeah, channel memberships exist. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Let's stay misinformed together.